centralizing in foreign policies on Capitol Hill on both sides of the aisle are very concerned about this and are taking part in those information briefings.
Now, how does this fit into America's broader strategy when it comes to intervening abroad? We know that Joe Biden has taken America out of Afghanistan. President Trump was in part elected because he promised to get America out of a number of conflicts. Is there any real appetite to get involved in a new one here?
Well, it's a very complicated situation. I don't think there is an appetite to get involved in a foreign conflict at this time, just because you've seen the U.S. really turn inward ever since March of 2020 because of the coronavirus pandemic and really focus on that domestic policy. But here's where it gets complicated. Russia obviously is a huge supplier of oil and natural gas, really in Europe and around the world. We see that gas prices here in the United States are already very high. We're dealing with record high inflation here in the United States. So there is a fear that if a conflict were to emerge between Russia and Ukraine right now, that could impact economics here in the United States and the American people's pocketbooks. So right now, we do know that the State Department is meeting with various energy companies around the world and other foreign governments such as Qatar and Norway to really come up with some sort of a contingency plan to figure out what to do if Russia were to weaponize its natural gas stockpiles.
Now, just one more thing before you go, Julia. Is this breaking into America's news coverage? Is this breaking through the domestic issues that would normally dominate the news?
I would say you're definitely starting to see it break through. I think you started to see it break through in the middle of last week, and now you're starting to hear more about Russia and Ukraine. And I think part of that is because it's so closely tied to economics and energy. So it's something you're hearing about. Coronavirus still obviously the top story, but I would say this is number 2 or number 3 in terms of foreign policy.
Julia, we always appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much indeed. There's Julia live with us from Washington.